Have you ever gone to work while sick or went an entire shift without using the bathroom? That's not a flex, it's an early warning sign. Burnout isn't one dramatic collapse. It's a slow descent, which can take anywhere from months to years, where you begin to treat your basic needs as suggestions. And that's exactly what happened to me. And I ultimately needed a 6-month sabbatical for my job as a doctor. So in this video, I wanted to share all about burnout, so you can either help yourself or someone you know who might be going down the same path. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Nisha. I'm an internal medicine physician, and I make videos for busy women with demanding careers who want to live a more balanced and healthy life. So now let's do an exercise. Raise your hand if any of the following phrases applied to you in the last month. I went to work while sick. I worked an entire shift without eating. I worked an entire shift without drinking water. I worked an entire shift without using the bathroom. I worked 24 hours without sleep. I worked over 36 hours without sleep. I fell asleep while driving home. And that last one is really serious. According to health studies, about 1 in 4 resident physicians have reported nodding off while driving home after work. And if any of these things are happening, even occasionally, your body is not being dramatic. It's giving you data points that you are slowly starting to normalize deprivation. And this is usually foreshadowing for burnout. There are also certain personality traits which will increase your risk for burnout. And this segment broke my heart because these personality traits are what make us the best healthcare professionals, the best caregivers, wives, mothers. But your burnout risk will go up if these amazing traits don't have boundaries. So these character traits are things like service to others, which turns into self-deprivation, and then finally compassion fatigue. Having high standards will turn into perfectionism, and then chronic self-criticism. Responsibility becomes this idea that you can't rely on anyone. And then finally, isolation. Your high drive to succeed will become this idea that you only feel worthy when you're productive. And this turns into guilt when you're resting. There are also some external life factors that are associated with higher burnout risks. These are things like work-life imbalance, a weak support system outside of work, big life stressors like death of a loved one or divorce, being a woman, mental health history, and isolation. This last part, isolation, is interesting because a study found that anesthesiologists have a higher rate of burnout, which is thought to be due to their isolated work environment. Furthermore, I feel personally that isolation is what contributed to my burnout because when I went into residency, this was my first time living far from home, and my husband as well, and my natural introverted personality made it hard for me to maintain friend groups. It's funny, before I left home, I would sometimes find my family's constant intrusion in my life to be annoying, but now that I spent 3 years apart from them, I realized how valuable those moments were. If you have become burnt out, these are the 3 things that you will feel: emotional exhaustion, depersonalization or cynicism, and low personal accomplishment or efficacy. Emotional exhaustion, it's not what you think. You don't feel tired. It's more like a numbness. For example, situations in the hospital that would have usually depressed you and made you feel empathetic towards your patients are things that you suddenly don't feel anything about. And this can be often misconstrued as thinking you're developing thick skin. That's what I thought when I stopped getting affected by situations like my patients not being able to get the care they deserve because of their medical insurance. The second part of depersonalization and cynicism is when you start to treat people as less than human. I know that sounds like a little bit like American Psycho, but it kind of goes hand in hand with the emotional numbness you start to feel. And don't worry, you're not becoming a sociopath. It's like an unhealthy coping mechanism from your brain's nervous system running on overdrive from the constant onslaught of emotionally painful situations. And the last component, low personal accomplishment, is when you stop caring about the things that used to bring you joy in your life. For example, finding an answer to a patient's problem or a treatment that actually helps them. So now let's talk about the techniques to combat burnout. And I'm splitting this into 2 sections. Triage for when you're already burned out and you're already cooked, and prevention if you feel like you're heading there. So if you're already emotionally exhausted, the goal is not to optimize your routine. The goal is to stabilize. Here are 4 things you can start doing today. First, reduce your workload within 24 hours. Cancel or postpone one non-essential thing today. Not next week, today. Number 2, protect your basic needs. Food, water, bathroom, sleep. These are not optional. Number 3, start healing your nervous system with mindfulness techniques. And this one will only take maximum 2 minutes. Close your eyes and take several deep, slow breaths. Become aware of your feet on the floor, what your shoes feel like on your feet. Feel the weight of your body pressing down onto your chair or your feet if you're standing. Notice the sensations in your chest and abdomen. And out loud, speak 3 statements of self-compassion to yourself. For example, I'm a good clinician, and today I have done my best. My fatigue is not a sign of weakness. I have worked very hard today and deserve the restful evening I'm going to take tonight. And finally, confide in someone you trust. Isolation multiplies burnout, and trust me, there are people out there who care about your well-being if you give it a chance. And if you feel like you're heading towards burnout, you can use the prevention pathway. Resilience is your ability to recover from emotional exhaustion. And these are things that kill resistance and are what you should pay attention to. Work-life imbalance, non-stop exposure to stress, no time to process hard feelings, and social isolation. So start working on one of these 4 areas in your healing process. And later on in the video, I'll talk about a visual aid you can use to actually pinpoint what areas of your life are leading to burnout. For my personal recovery from burnout, I needed an actual reset. I ended up taking about 6 months off of work. And at the time, I felt so guilty for doing so. But now, on the other end, I'm so grateful I took that time. During that time, I spent time with family. I rebuilt systems that prioritized wellness, which included fewer goals and more rest blocks, and hobbies that made me feel like myself again. And if you want more detail on the reset routines that led to recovery, check out this video here. And I'll say this clearly, recovery wasn't overnight. The best, most worthwhile things in life take time, and that includes rebuilding your nervous system so you can become more resilient. And if you want more guidance on figuring out what areas of your life are contributing to your burnout, here's a visual tool called the Paving wheel. It helps to rate where you are in terms of wellness and where to improve. Download the free PDF, which is available in the description box below, and fill out the boxes, plot the graph, and go from there. And remember this principle. Burnout happens when there is an imbalance between what is draining you in life and what is refueling you. And your job isn't to fix your whole life. Today, just pick one category and either reduce one drain or add one refuel. And finally, we can't talk about techniques to combat burnout without talking about therapy. Here are 4 therapy resources that are great for a busy lifestyle and are budget friendly. First is the Employee Assistance Program, or EAP. So if you're employed, check if you have an EAP, and this will often include a couple of free therapy sessions. Number 2, you can utilize insurance-matched therapist directories. These are platforms where you plug in whatever insurance you have, and they will immediately match you with in-network therapists. These platforms are things like Headway, Alma, and Grow. And I'll include a more comprehensive list in the description box below for you to check out. The third option is something called a sliding scale directory. These are for those of you who do not have insurance. So sliding scale directories, such as OpenPath, can help you find lower cost sessions. You do have to pay a one-time membership fee, but then you're able to book with reputable therapists at a reduced rate. And the reduced rate is something that you can set yourself. And finally, if you're in crisis or feel unsafe, in the United States, you can call, text, or chat 988 for immediate support. So burnout is not a personality flaw. It's what happens when your life has too many drains and not enough refuels for too long. If you take one action after this video, write down the category in your life that's draining you the most and make one change this week. Reduce one drain or add one refuel. Comment below if there are any techniques mentioned in this video or not mentioned in this video that helped you on your healing journey from burnout. And if you like that video, please hit the like and subscribe button. I put out new videos every week. And if you want more, I do have a weekly newsletter on meditations on health and wellness. Otherwise, I hope y'all have a peaceful and healthy rest of your day, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye!